Hi there, I'm Matt Christensen, TV6 Investigates reporter, and I'm here with Heidi Connect, who works on the TV6 Investigates team. And we're back for another TV6 Investigates Talks. That's where once a week we get together on Thursday afternoon and go a little deeper into some of those bigger stories that we're working on.
And this week we're going to be bringing you a story about a family that is living in a home that they say is unlivable.
Yeah, it's part of a larger series about housing, and this is a follow-up to a piece that I did last year or so, and it was a longer series taking a look at, problems in the Quad Cities housing market, especially for folks at the bottom of the ladder. And, fast forward till now, we had a building collapse. There's a lot of heightened awareness around this issue now, and there's kind of a community campaign going on around affordable housing right now. So we decided to meet some folks who are in some tough situations.
Yeah, so a family reached out to us about their living situation and invited us to their home, and they took us on a tour of the home and showed us all the different problems, and there were a lot.
Yeah, let's meet those folks. They're a young couple named Claire and Eric.
To me, it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, this is more their responsibility than it is ours. They're the ones who permanently own it, not us. We're just temporarily here, and if I'm here temporarily showing more initiative and care than they are, that says a lot.
Yeah, so you can see there that they're just a young couple trying to get their lives together, and they don't have a lot of money, like a lot of young couples do. And so, they could afford what they could afford, and, for them, it's $815 a month, I think, for a 3-bedroom, which is, not too bad in the Quad Cities, because the average price right now of a 2-bedroom apartment in the Quad Cities is about $900 and something a month.
Yeah, and this was a 3-bedroom, and it was a duplex, so they were on one side of it. And $815 is affordable to them, but the place they were living in did not seem like $815 worth of living anymore.
Yeah, up to them. That's at the point.
Yeah.
That's where they're at right now. They're weighing whether they can continue to sort of pay for what they're getting, or if they're going to have to make another choice. And so tonight you'll find out sort of where they're at in that process. We'll have the first part of the series is airing at 10, and then you can also find it on our digital platforms as well. But I think one of the things that we learned from this family is that they're far from alone. There are a lot of other people in the same situation, and it's part of a larger issue that's going on right now in the Quad Cities housing market, where you've got rent rising and faster than people are earning more money. And then you have fewer and fewer homes. There's 6,000 fewer rental properties in the Quad Cities than there were even 10 years ago.
Yeah, so even if you can afford a place, it's hard to actually find it.
Right, and that allows landlords to drive up the price because there's just fewer homes to choose from. So, it's this system that seems to be rigged sometimes for the people at the bottom.
Yeah, they don't know what they can do. They feel trapped.
Yeah, and that's why we're calling the series The Rent Trap, because it's taking a look at other families too who are going to be in similar situations. So a week from Thursday, we'll meet another family who's in a similar situation, but helps us tell a little bit different story about the housing situation in the Quad Cities. So, tonight we'll learn a little bit more about the tools that cities are using or can use in order to crack down on problem landlords. We use some Freedom of Information requests to obtain some housing documents from the city of Davenport. We talked to the city of Rock Island. We were in Moline. So the story took us all over the Quad Cities. But there are these commonalities, no matter where you go, that a lot of folks are in these tough situations. So, I think what I took away from the reporting that we did is just how few choices that some people seem to have.
Yeah, and once you're in a situation, it's hard to see the way out.
Yeah, I think the phrase is that it's more expensive to be poor than it is to have money, right? Because when when you get into these situations like Eric and Claire, and with 2 little girls and no place to live, I mean, it becomes a situation where it's not about luxuries, it's about a roof over your head and something on the dinner table that night.
Yeah, being able to bathe your kid in a bathtub that doesn't have rust.
Yeah.
Being able to cook in a kitchen that doesn't have mice running everywhere.
Right. And I think there will be some people who will watch this and say, well, why don't these people work harder, pull themselves up by their bootstraps? But they're in their early 20s. They're trying to make it on an income that somebody in their early 20s is typically earning, right? And that's really hard to support a family on these days.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we also learned is this concept of being, I think house poor is essentially the term, but you're spending more than 30% of your household income on your housing. And that number in the Quad Cities is also on the rise. So, more and more we're spending on basic needs like shelter and things like that. So we took a look at some of that in the series too. And what else did we look at, Heidi?
We look at vacate notices from a city.
Yeah, we looked at in Davenport how often are city inspectors now ordering people out of properties because they're substandard and not able to be inhabited. And surprisingly to us, the data showed something that we didn't expect. So you can check that out tonight too, but that was a major surprise for us when we looked at how often those city inspectors are actually closing down properties. So I think we'll leave it there and take a look at our previous stories on TV6 Investigates page on kwqc.com on our digital platforms. You can find all of our previous work there as well as other TV6 Investigates Talks episodes. So check those out. Otherwise, see your story tonight at 10. It'll be on our digital platforms right after it airs. And look forward to next week where we're going to talk housing again, this time from the city of Rock Island. So until then, I'm Matt Christensen. This is Heidi Connect. Thanks for joining us on another TV6 Investigates Talks. See ya.